Hello, everybody. Welcome to Cryptids and Critters Paranormal. I'm your host, the Deuster. It is a sweltering 29 degrees outside here at Soggy Bottom today. Hopefully to get up maybe a few more degrees and melt off some of this ice and snow off the back roads. The main roads are fairly clear, but the back roads are still kind of treacherous in spots. And it kind of puts me in the mind of the weather I used to love to go out and deer hunt in. My brother Terry and I, we used to do a lot of deer hunting, and we had hunted all over the county, and we had kind of wanting a new area to kind of hunt in, something maybe closer to home. So when I found out that the guy that owned the farm, about 2 farms over from me, was wanting somebody to come and hunt, we jumped at the chance. He's had deer all over the place. He said they were eating his garden up, and they were just making a general mess of everything. He couldn't keep any his garden up or anything, so he wanted somebody to kind of deer hunt it and kind of decrease the population of deer on his farm. So we jumped at the chance, and this was the day before hunting season opened, so we didn't have really a good chance to go scout it out like we really wanted to. So we got back here that morning. It was well before daylight, and we parked the truck about maybe a quarter mile away, and walked back into the woods, just kind of blindly trying to find us a spot. So we got in the edge of the woods. We just kind of picked us a tree and kind of stood behind it, and waiting for daylight to come. So anyway, we sat there we stood there for a while hunting, and then we kind of sat down by the base of the tree when it got daylight where we could see where we were at. And anyway, we got it. After it warmed up some, we kind of got up and was walking around looking a little bit and kind of scouting the area out, maybe finding a place to hunt the next morning, or that afternoon. And we came upon, in the edge of the woods, we came upon this great big sinkhole. I mean, it was a big joker. It was like it's pretty deep. And we kind of crawled over to the edge of it and kind of looked. And I mean, it was pitch black. And even with our flashlights, we couldn't see the bottom of this thing. So who knows how deep this thing was. So after we had, walked around a little bit and did a little more hunting, we kind of come back to the sinkhole. So let's see if we can see how deep this thing is. So we found a couple of big tree limbs kind of pitched off in it, and I never could hear him at bottom. So we finally found some boulders out by the edge of the woods, and we drug some of them up there and pitched them off in the hole and listened closely, and we still couldn't hear anything hit. So was this thing got a bottom in it or not? So we had about exhausted everything we could drop off into that thing. We had drug tree limbs, rocks, anything we could find that would maybe hit and make a noise that kind of give us a determination of how deep this thing was. Well, we had done dropped everything we could find into this hole, and we were kind of scouting around trying to find something. Went up a little ways up from the sinkhole was an old 6-cylinder engine block, old cast iron engine block. It was laying up there. So it'd been there for a while the way it looked. So Terry and I, we grabbed it and kind of drug it down to the edge of the sinkhole, and got ready and got it rolled up on the side. And on the count of 3, we let it fall off into the hole. So we're standing there listening, trying to see if it's going to hit bottom or whatever. And all of a sudden we hear this commotion back behind us, and we spin around and look, and here comes this big old white billy goat, just getting it out of the woods, and it runs down through that sinkhole and dives right in, dives in head first, and we're thinking, what in the heck was that? What did we just witness? What would make a billy goat run out of the woods and just, I know we didn't scare it that bad, to run off out of the woods and drop down into this hole, dive into the hole actually. So we were standing there looking, trying to figure it out, I thought, well, we need to go tell Mr. Bale, who owns the property, that there's a sinkhole back here, and he might want to put a fence or something around it, to maybe keep his cattle from falling in, or maybe even keep some hunter from, stumbling up on it. I kind of shudder to think what would have happened if we had to come upon this thing at night and didn't know it was there and just stepped off in it. Would we ever be found or not? So anyway, we are making our way back to the truck, and we had to drive maybe a half a mile, maybe a little more, down to the entrance of the farm, where he had a big gate up to keep trespassers out. So I pulled up to the gate, got out, was unlocking the gate, and Mr. Bell come driving up in his pickup truck. So I just, pulled outside the gate and stopped, off the side of the road where he can get by, and we got out and talked, and wonder if we'd seen anything. No, we didn't actually get a deer that morning. We had seen a bunch of sign of them, but we were gonna come back that afternoon. Maybe we can find one. We kind of had to sneak in, we kind of get in after dark, and we didn't really get to scout the area out. So we'll come back this afternoon and hunt again, And he said, well, that'd be fine. He says, just get all of them you can. He says, oh, by the way, y'all didn't happen to see my old goat back in there, did you? And I said, it's kind of odd you would mention a goat. I said, we were checking out this big old sinkhole you got back there, which you do need to put a fence around it, for safety. But I said, we were standing around this old sinkhole and kind of, just looking at it. And all of a sudden, this big old white billy goat comes running out of the woods and dives off into this hole, head first, It says, the strangest thing I ever seen in my life, And he says, well, that couldn't have been my billy goat, because my billy goat was chained off to an engine block. And with that, hope you enjoyed the story. Well, kind of if you don't mind, subscribe to my channel. And I'll be having a few more little things like this. It's not all about the paranormal, but I try to do some history, some little humorous tidbits in there as I go along. So just kind of make it interesting. So, like I said, subscribe to my channel, like it, share it with your friends. And once again, this is the Dooster. I hope you enjoyed this little story, and we will catch you next time. Have a good day.